This is a brand, a name, a mark, 5 colors, a typeface, a box, and a photo of the product. Claude made all of it. It took 8 minutes and 5 seconds. A design studio publishes a price for that same job, $17,000, and they take 30 to 55 working days. So, is the 8-minute version any good? In some places, yes, really good. In others, it falls apart. And it falls apart the same way every time. I will tell you where now, because it is the whole point. Making a brand is 2 different jobs. Job 1 is deciding, what should it look like? What should it say? Job 2 is writing all of that down, exactly, so that other people can build it. Because those people are not in the room with you, a printer, someone building a website, a factory, all they get is your instructions. Claude is very good at job 1. It is bad at job 2, and job 2 is what the $17,000 pays for. There is one exception. One part of this works brilliantly, and I have not seen anyone point at it. It comes up in about 4 minutes. First, how I scored it. The studio does not just publish a price, it publishes a list. 8 things you get for the money. Most people have never seen that list, so here it is. 1. Brand Finder. That is the homework. Who is this for, and what should it stand for? 2. Messaging direction. What the brand says and what it is never allowed to claim. 3. Logo suite. Not one logo, a set of them plus files a designer can open. 4. Color palette. The exact colors written down as codes. 5. Typography. Which fonts, which weights, and a license to use them. 6. Graphic elements. The shapes that make a brand recognizable when the logo is not on screen. 7. Brand applications. The brand on real objects, a box, a label, a van. 8. Brand guidelines. The rulebook so someone who has never met you still gets it right. That is the scoreboard. I gave Claude the same 8 word for word and started a clock. 3 arrived, 4 came half done, 1 never turned up. Now, one problem. A brand is always a brand of something, so before any of this could start, I needed a product. I picked an umbrella. Everybody has owned one, and everybody has had the same thing happen to it. The wind gets underneath, it flips inside out, it never closes properly again, and it goes in a bin the same day. Now look at how umbrellas are sold. Big, cheap, nice color, not one of them is sold on the part that breaks. That is the gap, so that is what the brand is built on. Clock starts. Job 1, the homework. This is where Claude is strong. It found the gap on its own. Everyone sells the cover, so sell the frame instead. Then it named it. Keel. A keel is the fin under a boat that stops it tipping over. One word and you already know what the umbrella promises. It also showed the names it threw away and why. Ribcage. Right idea, grim on a box. Windward. Every outdoor brand already uses it. Nimbus. Sounds soft, and soft is the opposite of the point. That is a designer working, not a machine picking words. Then it did something I did not expect. Every umbrella advert makes a promise, survives 50-mile-an-hour wind, 16 ribs. Numbers like that are what sell it. Claude wrote itself a rule instead, no numbers anywhere. This umbrella does not exist. Nobody has tested it, so any number would be invented. People complain these tools make things up. Here it refused to. Number 4, the colors. This sounds like the soft one on the list. It is the most exact. A palette is not 5 colors somebody liked. It is 5 recipes. Each one is written down as a code. That code is what you send to the printer, to the website, and to the factory that dyes the fabric. It is the only reason the navy on the box matches the navy on the website. So the code has to match the color sitting next to it. If it does not, everyone builds the wrong thing and you find out after it is printed. That I could test. I ignored the labels, read the real color of the pixels underneath, and compared the two. All 5 matched. The worst was out by 5 on a scale of 255. Your eye cannot see that. So it did not draw a pretty chart. It wrote a real specification. Number 3, the logo suite. That word suite is doing a lot of work. A studio does not hand you one logo. It hands you a set. A full one for a poster, a short one for the top of a website, a tiny one for the icon on a browser tab. What arrived was 1, and it is good. It reads as an umbrella from above and as the hull of a boat. The word is spelled right, which 2 years ago was the joke about these tools. But look at what the file is. It is a picture of a logo. Coloured dots in a grid, like a photograph. Blow a photograph up and it goes soft and blocky. This does the same. So a printer cannot use it, it cannot go on a van, and a designer cannot open it and change it. That is the complaint every designer makes, and they are right. So I stopped asking for a picture, I asked for the code. There is a second kind of image file. It does not store dots, it stores instructions. Draw a line from here to here, this thick, this colour. The computer draws it fresh at whatever size you ask for, so it is never blurry, at any size. Ever. That is the file printers and designers want, and image generators cannot make one. But Claude does not have to draw it. It can just write the instructions like code. And it works. It goes from poster size down to a browser tab with no blur. And it turns white on a dark background without being redrawn. That is the part I would use tomorrow. It costs you something though. Put it next to the drawn one. It is rougher. The ends of the ribs are cut square and stick out, so the joins look like mistakes. And at the smallest size, it turns into a smudge. So you choose. The pretty one you cannot use, or the useful one that is not as pretty. Back to the list, this is where the pattern shows up. Typography, not fonts you like, a named font, the weights, and a license. What arrived is a picture of some letters. It never names the font, so there is nothing to download, nothing to buy, and nothing to put on a website. Graphic elements, the shapes that make a brand recognizable when the logo is nowhere in sight. The rib pattern would work perfectly, but only the logo got made, so there is no set of shapes to hand anyone. Brand applications, the brand on real objects. This is the photo that sells it in a meeting. The navy is the navy from the palette. The orange band is the accent. The name is on the sleeve and on the box, spelled right on both. And the top is cut off. The umbrella runs out of the picture. No studio sends that to a client because you cannot add back what was never photographed. Which leaves number 8, the rulebook. And this is the one the money is really for. How much space to leave around the logo, the smallest size it may be used at, what nobody is allowed to do to it, which colour goes on which background. It exists so a printer in another country 2 years from now gets it right without phoning you. Take it away and everything else slowly drifts out of shape. Claude did not make one, and here is the part that gets me. During this build it found a rule that belonged in that rulebook. The logo stops working at the smallest size. It found it and never wrote it down. Clock stops. 8 minutes and 5 seconds against 30 to 55 working days. And I want to be straight with you because this is where these videos cheat. Those 8 minutes are drawing time. They do not count finding the studio's list, which took me longer than the build, or deciding what the brand should say, or throwing away 3 names, or knowing that a cropped photo is unusable. So the honest line is not that a $17,000 brand took 8 minutes. The drawing took 8 minutes. The deciding still took a person. 3 delivered, 4 half done, 1 failed. Now look at which ones. The font with no name, the logo with no size rule, the rulebook that never came. Every single gap is an instruction, not one of them is taste. So, if you want to look, to test an idea, or to show somebody this week, this gets you most of the way for nothing. If you need something a printer, a website builder, and a factory can all work from without phoning you, that part is still missing. And that is the part you were paying for. The brief, the score, and both studio prices are on screen. If you take one thing from this, take the vector. Ask for the file, not the picture. This channel tests AI tools on real work and leaves the receipts in. Subscribe and you will get the next one.